It's 10 p.m. at night. I would like to have a burger. I tell my girlfriend, hey, I would like to have a burger. 10 minutes later, coincidentally, in my cell phone, in my YouTube app, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, there's burger advertisement, McDonald's, Burger King, Carl's Jr. And you might say, oh, this is so futuristic. Our cell phones are listening to us? Unfortunately, yes, and this is not paranoia and this is not part of conspiracy theories. This is actually worse than we think. We can't deny the fact that technology is a double-edged sword. It can destroy and it can build. It can kill, but it can save. It can storage all kinds of information that our brains wouldn't be able to. Nonetheless, technology is not only a concept, it's a strategy. It has a direction. It's an evolutive tool, but at the same time, a controversial one. Technology presents technological trajectories. That means that every innovation has to be inserted in a paradigm, and the paradigm, the structure, will give direction to it. And this innovation will have to follow the market rules. These market rules follow a significant marketing structure. I'm aware of the fact that digital marketing has launched, revolutionized, and brought about different jobs in several areas. I get that point. However, there's the other way of marketing, the one that is so undesirable, that is so intrusive, that is so overwhelming, that without your consentment and permission, is sending you advertisement all the time. When we buy our cell phones, we buy them because of the functions that the device can really operate, but not for what the device can take from us. Would you like to travel to India? Tickets to India. Are you interested in some pills? Buy them. And you're like, hey, Google, hold on. I just want to do some research of things that I'm interested in. I don't want to buy, but buy. And we know that our brains work with repetition. I recently had some issues with my neck, and I was constantly doing this kind of stretching and this kind of movements. Consequently, my cell phone started sending me all kind of overwhelming advertisement in this regard, some kind of protection for this area. And I was, hey, I didn't even mention this to my girlfriend or my friends. Therefore, not only are our devices listening to us, but observing us as well. And you might tell me, this is nothing new, but that's the problem. We are really getting used to it. We buy our cell phones for what they can operate, but we don't know the limits of the artificial intelligence that it contains, and how this artificial intelligence can storage this kind of massive data without even our awareness. Everything that we look for in the internet, it remains in the platform. Google knows our biggest desires, what are we afraid of, our intentions as well. And this is a bit scary, isn't it? We have no more privacy. As I told you before, we can no longer be talking to a person without our device listening to us and waiting for the perfect moment to send advertisement. That's a real invasion to the privacy. But on the other hand, some people have told me, oh yes, but who cares about privacy? I can take pictures, I can have all my services. And that's the main problem. We are no longer surprised to the lack of privacy that we have. My point is that these generations that can't conceive life beyond this device, that are always like this, that is just an extension of their bodies, they won't care much about privacy, because we are already in TikTok showing our houses, our families, our activities all the time. So I don't care if this device is listening me while I'm having an important chat about my life, if I'm taking a shower. That's my point. I'm not blaming new generations. The point is, which are the limits of these devices listening to us? Because this won't stop. I have been monitoring these kind of things every day. I talk about certain issues, and later on, soon after, they are in my device in different platforms. We need to be able to voluntarily disattach from our cell phones while we are sleeping, while we are chatting, while we are even in the toilet. And I'm gonna say something. In the 40s and 50s, all this cigarette industry was even supported by governments and then regulated. But first, you just created a generation of addicts. The same happened with alcohol. First, you create a generation of addicts and then you regulate it. What happened with junk food? You create this kind of cartoons so that children could have this approach to junk food, and then you regulate it. Now you create device dependence, and then you might regulate it. Meanwhile, you are storing all the information. It's not that behind our cell phone is one person following us everywhere. But certainly, the artificial intelligence that our device contains possess all our life information. Information is power, and if our information is part of a record, maybe someone has access to that record. It's not just the relationship between you and the artificial intelligence in the device. It is actually the person who can acknowledge that personal information.